So you're putting in a permitted development application to convert a commercial building to residential use. As part of that application process, neighbours and members of the public are invited to submit their comments on your application. Do you care what the neighbours think? Well, I certainly don't, and in this video I'll tell you why. Now, what I'm talking about here is submitting permitted development applications specifically for converting existing commercial buildings to residential use with no change of the external envelope of the building. Now, when you do that, you put in a prior approval application to the council, which they have 56 days to come back to you on. Now, that is completely different from a full planning application. Now, when you submit a full planning application for, say, building a block of flats or doing anything, then as part of that process, there is a neighbour and public consultation. Now, what happens is during the application period, the council asks you to put up a site notice like this on the front of the building. And it basically tells people that, look, this application has been submitted to do X, Y, Z. You are invited to submit your comments to the council. Your comments need to be submitted by this particular date. What the council will do is they'll take all your comments, they'll put them on the website with that planning application. Now, if they are more than a certain number of objections from the members of the public, then what the council can do is say, look, this application is a bit contentious. We don't want to have it decided under delegated authority by a planning officer. It has to go to the planning committee. And that's where there's a full committee of councillors, and they all have a chin wag and put their boot in and decide whether or not you could be granted your planning application. Now, PD is not like that. Permitted development applications do not follow that path. Permitted development applications cannot be taken to a planning committee. There's just no mechanism for that. And there's actually no mechanism in the permitted development legislation for taking into account any comments made by members of the public. But still, whenever you put in a PD application to convert a commercial building to residential use, you submit the application and the council wants you to put up one of these notices on the front of your building. So here's one that I'm about to put up, and it says basically this is an application to convert this building into a number of flats, blah blah blah. You have 21 days to pass your comments to the council, make your comments here if you've got anything to say about this application. But all these people who are going to comment are pretty much whistling in the wind, because there is no mechanism for a permitted development application for the council to actually take these views into account. The application cannot be pulled into a committee or anything like that, because permitted development, unlike planning permission, is a criteria-based piece of legislation. In other words, when I'm submitting an application, a permitted development application, I know the criteria on which it's going to be judged. And I know that if I tick all the boxes, then granting of that permission is assured. So why do they do this? Well, I don't know. It just gets people in the local neighbourhood really excited. Maybe it gives people a feeling that they have a say or they have some control over this. They may have a certain amount of influence with a planning permission. You know, if 100 people decide to comment on a particular planning application, then you'd have a nice planning committee meeting and a big argument and bun fight about it. But with PD, it really doesn't matter. A couple of years ago, I put in a permitted development application for the conversion of a disused office into 4 flats. Now, this office building had a car park to the rear, and on the other side of the car park was a gym. So this office hadn't been used for a number of years, so the car park wasn't really in use. And this gym guy had got used to using the car park to do outdoor classes in the summer. It wasn't even his land. So what he did is, when I put in this application, the cheeky monkey got all his members of his gym to write individual letters and put them on the and send them to the council. And the council were bombarded with 50+ letters from the adjacent gym guy and all his cohort saying, oh, we don't want our classes to stop in the car park when this is converted to flats, other people will be parking their car there, we won't be able to do our Pilates classes or whatever it is that they're doing, you know. And obviously it was a volume of complaints or comments, but the council could not take any of this into account because PD doesn't allow for that. In any case, the guy had no right to use my car park for his gym exercises anyway. So why we have to do this, I don't know. Does it just keep someone employed at the local council office? If you've got any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. But I'm off to put up this notice outside a building. People will comment. Well, if you want to comment below. But people will comment on this PD application. But don't worry about it. It won't go anywhere. As long as you have ticked all the boxes for the permitted development criteria for your application, the council will permit your development proposal. They can't refuse it. That's all for this video. Catch you guys next time. The Baker Street Property Meet is the UK's largest and #1 property investors networking event. The property market is going through monumental change right now, and at Baker Street Property Meet we aim to keep you up to date with the latest tips and tricks and insider tactics to help you keep on top of your property investing game and succeed in these troubled economic times. The Baker Street Property Meet is fundamentally about networking because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And at Baker Street we aim to connect you with the people to make your property journey a monumental success. There's no better place to be to further your property investment journey than the Baker Street Property Meet. So make sure you're here, you're connecting with myself and Andrew Roberts, our expert guest speakers and 300 passionate property people each and every month. See you at the next meet. Get your spot at bakerstreetpropertymeet.com.